Hello, everyone. I'm sorry for the short delay. My name is Shmuel Zeider, and I'm the CEO and CTO of Raz-Lee Security. Thank you for joining us for this webinar. Today we shall speak about field encryption. Each week, throughout the end of the year, we will be presenting one or two webinars covering the major products of our security suite. Raz-Lee is the IBM partner. Excuse me. A few words about Raz-Lee. Founded 35 years ago, its ongoing mission is to provide security software for the IBM I. Raz-Lee has more than 12,000 licenses installed in over 40 countries around the world. Raz-Lee is an IBM partner and has partnered with many others. Among them, you can find SIEM providers such as ArcSight, IBM QRadar, Splunk, and more, and DAM providers such as Imperva and McAfee. DAM is actually database activity monitoring, the area in which IBM Guardium belongs to. Imperva, which is the leading provider of DAM products worldwide, shows its trust in our solution and OEM'd it for their IBM I agent. We have corporate offices in Germany, US, and Italy, and a worldwide network of distributors. This slide provides a sample of our customers from various industries, including banking, healthcare, manufacturing, and casinos. And a few words about the iSecurity suite. Our iSecurity suite of products is the most comprehensive solution for security, auditing, and compliance to regulation on the IBM I. We cover more aspects of security rather than any other solution. All our software was created in-house, so they share the same look and feel and use the same terminology throughout the entire suite. This means that you will face the shortest possible learning curve, since once you are familiar with one product, you know most of all the others. The suite comes in full GUI, absolutely full GUI, which is Java-based on Eclipse, and full green screen, which is very convenient to use. Depending on on your preference, you can use either the GUI or the green or both together. As part of the product, we provide an integral business intelligence tool. We call it Visualizer, and this makes life much more convenient. The product shares powerful report generator and scheduler, which comes with hundreds of built-in customized reports. It can output to screen, PDF. It can zip reports together and send them by mail. It can denote that all the reports are empty in this zip file to help you work by exception, so that you know that there were no exception and you don't even have to open the zip file, etc. It can even output, the report generator can output its result set into the business intelligence tool for further investigation. We have the widest security offering in the market. With 20 plus products, some of these products are unique on the market. Let's take the capture product, which actually captures all the screen activities. Let's take the change tracker, which automatically tracks all the changes in production libraries and can report it to the auditor without any human intervention and without any ability to go around it. We have a product, the anti-ransomware. Well, while most others speak about cybersecurity, and we all know that ransomware is the major threat in this area as we speak now, so we are the only company which provides anti-ransomware. Okay, we are all the time developing further all the products, and new products are coming every year. And this is actually the next product which will come the next year. It's called Update Control, and Update Control will help you control the update of sensitive files without and prevent actually usage of any file editor, should it be DBU, DFU, file scope, or any other one to update them, including Start SQL, etc. And we'll record all those changes and provide a way to work with it if it is needed and approved in advance. Okay, so now let's see the agenda of today. Today, we will be speaking about field encryption. Field encryption is not file encryption. File encryption is to take the entire file, encrypt it, and send it attached to something or by FTP to another computer. Field encryption is the idea of continuously working with our application while the data, the sensitive part of the data, is encrypted in the files themselves. And as such, different groups of people which watches the application will see different things. Some of them will see data which is entirely clear, while others will see it masked. But let's speak about the agenda first. We shall be covering the idea why field encryption is needed. We shall have an overview, describe the characteristic of it. We will be speaking about a multi-LPAR, multi-system environment, and we shall cover keys and consider all the issues which we have to, and we shall run into a demo at the end with the ability to answer some question of you if you have. Okay, so about the need for encryption. First, encryption is a requirement for the GDPR, PCI, HIPAA, FDA 21, CFR Part 11, and other regulations. So it's not for us to decide in some cases, but also it's good to think that some of us want to be cautious and want to encrypt the sensitive part of the databases. The use cases can be a credit card number, personal information, medical or ID numbers, passwords, etc. All these are called sensitive data. As such, we would like to restrict the access for it and still have it encrypted very strong. So the idea is that some of the people will see the data, and this is an example of a credit card, as free data, as clear text data with no masking. Most people will see it masked. For example, all the characters will be masked except the last 4 characters. And there are also ways to say that some people will not see any part of it. Okay, so what do? We protect the sensitive data using AES, which is a very strong encryption. We do not require you to compile your application again. There is no change in the application at all. On the other hand, all the level checks of the files remain the same. The product has an integrated key management, key manager, while the key manager itself can provide all the levels of keys which are needed according to the NIST and the other regulations. A full auditing is joining and attached to the entire software, and everything is audited perfectly. We don't even forget the small things at the end. There is a command of IBM which is commonly used by programmers. It's called change physical file, and maybe you know or not, but if this command is used with the parameter source file, the file, if it was encrypted, may lose its encryption entirely without any warning. As such, we provide a measurement to prevent this pitfall, and we shall request a specific authority in order to run this command with this parameter. Some of the characteristics of the field encryption. It works with all kinds of applications, regardless of how they were written and what they use, which language they are written, or in which environment they are being used. It can run in a web application, GUI application, and green screen application. It supports both DDS files and also files which have been created via by SQL. Regardless of the type of I/O. If you use SQL I/O, it's fine. If you use traditional I/O, it's fine. If you use the IBM command like copy file or a query or anything, they are always in place to support you. The product uses AES encryption. AES encryption in the various ways which are common, which are 128 until 256 bits encryption. Actually, all these three options of AES are considered as suitable for top secret information, and this is by the PCI regulation. The way that we use the encryption adheres to the NIST requirements. And as this means also that we have 3 levels of keys, etc. Some of our characteristics. First, field encryption is part of our Raz-Lee iSecurity suite. It shares the same look and feel, the same terminology. It works with the similar ideas, so it's very convenient to use. We support both tokenization and encryption. The difference between tokenization and encryption is the following. Usually encryption is done in place, in the file itself. So actually we have the file and some fields of which are encrypted. Tokenization is a different method in which we replace the value of the field with a serial number, and that serial number points to another file. In that file, which is the vault of the tokens, the data is encrypted. There are, in some situations it's better to use tokenization, but in most cases encryption is sufficient and perhaps more convenient to use. But you don't have to decide what you use, because our software can handle both ways, both encryption and tokenization. The software is built of 3 parts. Data manager, this is the part which works with the data itself. It provides it for the encryption and decryption at the time that is needed. The key manager, which handles all the keys, and we already mentioned that there are 3 levels of keys which we have to use. And the token manager, so that if we use tokenization, then the token manager is an entity by itself. Actually, each one of these 3 tiers can reside on a different system. So we may have on one or several system data managers, key manager in one place, and a token manager in another place. So you can understand from it that the product is from the beginning was planned to support multi-site, multi-LPAR organizations. And this is the schema. So you can see that every part of it, should it be the data managers or the key manager or the token manager, may have high availability for it, and as such you are well protected, but also in the physical aspect. Okay, so when we work with the product, how we start working with it? The very first thing that we have to do is, of course, the first time setup. And after we set up the beginning of it, and the beginning of it is quite simple, because what we do is we have to create master keys. Master keys is a part of the operating system. It's the idea of having, we must thank IBM for this idea. The operating system provides us the ability to have some keys which are not stored in the regular disk space or memory space which one can access. So even if somebody will dump the full disk and full memory, they will not be able to find the master keys. We are using this differently on each LPAR, or same, you can use it, but there is no need, in order to have the root for all the keys. Then we define key officers. The key officers are those people who are allowed to handle keys, create new version for a key, and actually a new version for a key is like a password. So we have from time to time to renovate to create a new, to refresh the password. So we have also to refresh the keys. So after we have defined the key officers, we set the encryption keys. The encryption keys themselves come in KE key, which is key encrypting keys, and then with data keys. And each KE key is encrypted by or protected by the master key, and which I mentioned at the beginning earlier, and the data key is protected by the KE key. The other part of the software is the next step is to find sensitive fields. We have to find those fields which we would like to encrypt, and this is something which we have to be very careful, because some of the programmers from time to time may have copied a portion of the file to another file. So we have to ensure that all fields, regardless on which file they exist, are properly found and encrypted. Then we have to define the authority of the users for the data. So we decide which user will see what. Will he see it in clear text or masked text? And then we encrypt the data. And in most cases, this is the end of the story, because, as I said in the beginning, there is no need to recompile or reshape your software. There are exceptions, but those exceptions are the minority, and we shall be discussing them briefly later on. So this is the list of the keys and how they work, and let's continue. Our solution supports all field types, and it supports from character to date and time, and even blob and clob. And what is written here is will soon be removed. It will the product will support blob and clob of any size. So you are free to decide what you wish to encrypt. Now, as I said, this is the way that people will see the data. Some will see it clear text, others will see it masked, and some will see it empty. We do not have to decide for each field in each file who will see what, because in most of the cases, the same business item, should it be a credit card or a piece of medical information, or is it the ingredients of some formula, usually they appear in many places, and the authorization is similar. So we provide the decision tables for who can see what, based on the business items, which makes life much easier, and you don't have to struggle with each field by itself, but with sets of fields. So you can understand that the way that we decide who will see the data is based on the username. But actually, it's not only on the username, because we take into consideration also the group profile names and the supplemental group profile names. So we shall try to check whether the user belongs to a department, and a department is categorized in our organization as a supplemental group profile, and allow him according to that to see the data in a clearer way. There are exceptions to this, and we provide those exceptions. Because in some cases, let's take the credit card. This is a very good example. So usually we would like that all the people will be able to see it in masked representation. But in some cases, we would like that even those who see it in masked representation will have the ability to see it in one specific menu item as a clear text, or in one record format of a specific display file. So our software has a set of exceptions, and we can decide not only according to the user, but also according to the program name that is being used to handle this field, or to the display file name, or the record format of that display file. And of course, we also provide a user exit program, which you can simply implement into your software in order to set it to see or not to see the data. So, technically speaking, how safe are we? Well, traditional I/O, all is safe. You don't have to worry. Actually, the way that IBM has provided the encryption and the way that we use it in our solution is that when somebody is reading the data, before the data is moved to his memory in the computer, the data is manipulated according to the encryption software that is in use. This is based on the Field Proc, which was announced in IBM release 7.1 TR4. And as such, data will be transferred only in the way that the user / program / display file / API has set it to be. This is also true to the SQL. Again, level check is not changed at all. You can freely create duplicate objects, because when you do this, you will not discover the data. The same is with copy file. The same is even when you will use something which shows you without the separating it to fields, such as display physical file member, then you will see it in this way. And yes, even under DFU or any file editor, should it be our file editor, the Change FC, which is part of the file scope, or DBU, or any other file editor, in no way, no one will get to see more than is allowed. And yes, even if you think that a database journal must include the data in such a way that it will be able to restore the data, roll it up and roll it down, even then, when two different people with two different authorities will look at the same database journal, and at the same time, each one of them will see some of the data in clear text, and some of the data, and the other will see it as masked data. Okay. So I think that we have gone through this, and but we have to speak a little bit with the programmers which are part of this of the audience now. So when do we have to think a second time before we just run the encryption and provide it to the users of your organization? Well, you have to do this to think about situation in which you sort a data. When actually the way that the data is stored in the computer in a file which is sorted, and we have encrypted its key field, is based according to the encrypted value representation, which means nothing. So if until now we had a report, a file, which included a list of sequentially ordered data, organized, sorted, and I am now trying to print them, then the result will not show a properly ordered sort. There are ways to go around it, and we have to remember just to use those. There is also another way, another thing to remember, and this is what happens if we have a part of the field. If we have a part of the field, we will not be able to do what is called ZLL, or to position ourselves and start reading from that point on, unless we take some special measurement in advance. Again, this is because the access to between files and to values is based on the data after encryption. And if we know only part of the data, we don't know the part of the encryption and cannot access it. So this is the programming consideration. About performance. Encryption requires performance, but not to the extent that people think, at least not with our software. We had all the time this in mind, and we have tried to be very efficient in the way that we have programmed the software. So there is some effect on the CPU percent, but it's not high. There is also some effect on the disk space. I'll cover it in a minute, but again, this is not something which we have to think about it too much. Usually, when we shall use encrypted files in interactive application, we seldomly will be able to even notice that the files are encrypted. On the other hand, if we shall be running on a very long file, and all that is in the program that is running is just to read it and write it and read it and write it, and there are plenty of fields there which are encrypted, then the performance will degrade. Some notes. PCI considers, which is a payment card industry, DSS, PCI DSS, considers AES 128 as suitable to encrypt top secret documents. As such, there is no need to run to a higher level. I assume that they are experts and they know what they say. So, and this, of course, saves some of the cycles of the CPU. Also, you have to remember that AES encryption, AES is the most advanced method of encryption, algorithm of encryption. So AES encryption works in blocks, and as such, even when we take the short fields, sometimes they have to grow in order to preserve a proper encryption. So these are the things which we have to think about, and let's see what we have else. Data discovery. Data discovery is a very important part of the software. Data discovery is the idea of finding out all the pieces of information which are very sensitive and we wish to encrypt. These pieces of information, we provide two ways, two methods to discover. One of them you can use immediately. This is a species tool which is installed only on your PC. You don't have to install anything on the IBM i, and still with this software you will get the full list of sensitive fields according to what you think that is sensitive. For example, you may decide that all fields representing some special diseases such as HIV or formulas of manufacturing or anything are sensitive, so you describe those fields as far as you know. The product will automatically scan it and provide you with a list. So the first tool is a PC-based tool, and the idea is that you simply take that PC-based tool and you get a full report of all the fields which which seems to be sensitive. This helps you prepare yourself for an encryption project. You can plan ahead and then do it later. When you install the software, you will have a similar capability as part of the encryption product itself. This time, you may choose and select the important fields to be encrypted, and they will be very conveniently moved to the encryption software for being encrypted. All these two discovery tools helps you not only to plan, but ensures you that you have covered all the sensitive data in your organization. So now it's the time for demo. So as I said, we shall try to show you a little bit of our software. We shall use this user, Mark, who should see data as masked data, while we shall also use another user, maybe its name will not be John, and this user will see the data in clear text. Actually, I will run the same software by using these two users. For convenience, I will not use John. I will use the encryption product itself to the user of the encryption product itself to show you the data in clear text. And at the same time, we shall see that Mark, before encryption, sees the full data, and after encryption, sees it as masked. So let's go to the software itself. I'm now opening in one of our systems. This is one of our products, the capture. It tells me that all the process that all the screens which we are seeing will be recorded and can be played back later. Okay, start encryption. And this is the product. Just a glimpse about the product itself. Here we have defined the discovery part. These are the reports. The key manager is here. The data manager with the encrypting of the data is here. And should you wish to work with the organization, you have it here. So it's very well organized. And as I said, this same product might be installed on 3 different LPARs or systems and work as a single product for all. We shall go here to the fields for encryption, and we shall take one of our examples. We are rich in examples. Let's take the credit card, and we shall see here a field which is now encrypted. So I'll remove its encryption. I'll decrypt it first. And it will soon be, yes, it's not encrypted. I will open another user. And this user will actually see the data using a menu. So this menu shows a single file, but with different methods. For one of the methods is, for example, DFU. So if I get into the DFU and I page down, I see the credit card number in clear text. If I go to the IBM query, of course, I will see the credit card in clear text, and so on with all the options. Should it be Start SQL or our file editor, they all will show the data as clear text. So now I will go to this, to the other user. I will now encrypt this field. Oh, somebody's, of course, because I left it here, it's locked. Okay. So now it is okay. I'm encrypting now the field in this file, and it is encrypted. So let's see what Mark can see. Let's start with the DFU. Oh. Okay, let's. Something is wrong here. Okay, the query of IBM is working. The DFU was not working. I don't know why. I'll check it later. But these are all parts of the operating system, so it's not part of this demonstration. So the credit card number, which we saw clearly earlier, is now observed in this way. But the question is, in which way shall we see it with a powerful user? So let's go out here. We have here work with demo. So we are able to run the same here. And at the same time, while we see the same field, one user sees it in clear text, while the other user sees it as masked data. We can have in the same time a third user which will see it with blanks, and actually we may use different ways of masking the same field in the same time for different users. This is all part of the system itself. So, and if we go to the, let's say, the file editor, this is how Mark is seeing it, and this is how we shall see it from the powerful user who is allowed to see the full data. So again, you can see the difference so clear. It's as simple as that. To encrypt the field, it's easy. It's just to click on a number next to the field, and that's it. We have defined the attribute of encryption, so it's easy. There are keys. All that was established in advance, and it's very convenient to continue. I just want to show you again. Let's get into this encryption, and let's look at the description of this, and you can see here that the business item is credit cards, and business item credit card is authorized according to a group name sale. In sale, we shall have all the information of who can see what and in which way. So let's see how sale looks like. We get in and we find sale. We have a lot of data here, and sale is here. We select it, and you can see the following. Each user or group profile or all is specified with the view option. The view option, I will press now F4, is either to hide entirely, to show in clear text, to show the standard mask, or to show some other mask. Yes, we can do also scrambling of the data by formula or by random data, actually by any type of method, because this is a flexible mask capability which we can enhance as much as is needed. We also have, so here you can see that mark was specified to see the data in standard mask. Okay, and this was the reason that Mark saw it in this way. On the other hand, the user for encryption that we were using in this session is specified to work here and see the data in clear mode. If we will change this number here, then we shall see it in a different way. There are exceptions to the rules, and the exceptions for the rule is, for example, that here, for this user, which is a group profile, when he works in general, not specifically only in interactive, he has an exception group named program PGM unlib. What is PGM unlib? It's not important, but we can go and see the exception group, and the exception group will tell us what it is and how it is working. For the sake of understanding, I will just go in for a minute and show you the exception group. So the exception group looks like this. You can see here that there are exceptions based according on this one. This was the group which we were seeing, and this says the following: if this program is using it, then change it to hide. And all that without us changing anything in the software. And that's the main idea. Do not work hard. It's all, the software should provide you with all these capabilities. You can see also some other things here, and this is, for example, exception based on display file record formats, and according to, so in the same display file, which is normally representing in the same program, then when this record is being displayed, we see the data in clear text, and in this one, we shall see it in standard mask, and in all other record formats, we shall see it based according to the user itself. Okay, thank you for being with us during this short demo and this webinar. I'm ready now to answer any questions if you may have, and show you whatever is in the product itself. The product is ready, is being used in live, in many customers. We have all the knowledge how to implement it and assist you in the implementation and usage of it. So, okay, I see that first question has already arrived. Which operating system level does this encryption product require? Okay, well, IBM announced the Field Proc, which is the origin and the basis of all this product in release 7.1 TR4. So if you are not there, sorry, the product will not work for you. We all know that 7.1 entirely is not anymore supported, so I do recommend to use 7.2 or 7.3. Let's see if there are any other questions. For how long can we get a trial key for POC? Okay, if you want a POC, we can provide you with all the assistance for it. We shall provide you with a trial version which will be fully functional for at least 30 days. Should you need extended period, we shall provide it to you. We shall assist you. Just ask and we are there for you. We do it daily and regularly with many customers. Okay, just a minute. We are using an old application. Can we use the encryption? Oh, this is a very good question. Yes, the answer is yes. Even if you don't have the sources of your software, you can use encryption. The encryption does not require you to recompile the software or do anything. It's all in a level which is lower than your programs. You can consider it as below the table. Okay, so even if you have a very old application which you may have lost or don't know where they are, the sources of which, or don't know how to compile it, yes, you will be able to continue using it without any need, even though you encrypt your files. Oh, changes in your programs. Okay, changes in the programs. Usually you don't have to do any change in your program, but if you have a menu item, and it's not important if the menu item comes from a web software or is part of a green software or a GUI software, then you have to remember that if you used to rely on the idea that the data is pre-sorted by the key and you can access it sequentially and print it and it will come out sorted according to the key, then this will not work out. Actually, you will have to modify slightly the environment which this program runs, and we have actually a very nice solution which is a wrapper program which will wrap your existing software, and your software will actually feel as if it is working under the regular sorted way that was before the encryption. Are files locked during the initial encryption of data? Yes, I think that we could see it that while I was trying to encrypt or decrypt, and there was a lock somewhere. For the initial encryption is not that long, but it requires some time, and certainly it requires an exclusive lock over the file. This means that the first time that you do the encryption, no one can be using the file or any view or logical file of that file or table. Okay, implementation time. What is the best estimate length of a project? Oh, with millions of records. Okay, so I think that if you would estimate that 1 million of records will take you about 1 hour, you are in a good position, and usually this will realize so. So depending on your files, actually some of our clients have files which are 1 point something 1 point something billion records. And as they have billion records, of course, it may take very long in order to encrypt them for the first time. But that's the requirement. And this, of course, depends on the power, the horsepower of your computer and your disks. And I think that this is the last question for today. Is it true that blob fields are supported? Is supported. Okay, blob fields are supported. Blob, clob, and all those large objects, binary or character objects, are supported with our software. Of course, they may take a longer period, and if your file has some blobs and you decide to encrypt the blobs, take into consideration that the estimates which I gave just in the previous question are not that correct. That's all the time that we have today. Thank you for your participation. We invite you to join us for our upcoming webinar next week on Thursday, November 15 at 16 Central European Time. We shall then cover the audit module of our iSecurity product. You can find a full schedule on our homepage at www.raz-lee.com, and you are invited to thank you for joining us today. You are invited to join us further, and should you wish, you can always request a demo or a POC or speak with us. Feel free. Thank you.